Nurse Anesthetist by Ferrer. A quick overview of the presentation includes my career choice, the nature of the work, working conditions, employment, training, qualifications and advancement, job outlook, earnings, related occupations, my timeline, and the conclusion. Career choice, as stated in the title, is a nurse anesthetist. They are known as CRNAs, which stands for National Certified Registered Nurse Anesthetist. The nature of work of a CRNA is to analyze a patient's conditions along with diagnose health problems, understand and how to respond to the medicines and treatment of the patient. They also are there to alleviate any pain the patient is feeling. They can do this by administering anesthesia to a local area or by putting the patient to sleep. Before anesthesia is even administered, they discuss the patient's medical history, allergies, and illnesses that they are currently experiencing. CRNA's working conditions include settings where anesthesia is administered. This means that they work closely with other working professionals that administer anesthesia, such as plastic surgeons, dentists, podiatrists, and anesthesiologists. Work areas include government jobs, such as in the military, veteran affairs and public health service healthcare facilities, as well as dentist offices and traditional hospitals. As CRNAs are typically working in operating rooms, hazards include to the exposure of body fluids and communicable diseases. The employment of CRNAs are located all across the country. Anywhere that anesthesia is provided is where a CRNA can be employed. Because CRNAs are registered nurses with a specialty of anesthesiology, they are considered the highest paid registered nurses, depending on the state that they are in. Training, qualifications, and advancement in CRNAs are an extensive process. First, you must pursue and graduate with a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing or have a degree that is equivalent to. Clinical rotations in women's health, pediatrics, and surgery are required and must have maintained a GPA of a 3.0 or higher. After completing an undergraduate program, you're required to take and pass the NCLEX RN, otherwise known as the National Council Licensure Examination for Registered Nurses. After passing this exam, you must have gained 1 to 3 years of experience as a working registered nurse before even applying to an accredited nurse anesthesia program. After completing these specific requirements, you must have gained admittance and graduate from the accredited nurse anesthesia program. This usually takes about 2 to 3 years. Upon completion, nurse anesthetists must pass the national certification examination through the National Board of Certification and Recertification for Nurse Anesthetists, otherwise known as the NBCRNA. After passing, you must apply for a job as a CRNA. Recertification is required every 4 years, and you must retest for every 8 years. Careers as a nurse anesthetist job look is actually much faster than average. The job field has increased of an expectation of growth of 31% between the years of 2014 and 2024. Nurse anesthetists in 2017 made between $105,400 to $242,000. This all depends on the location and which state you are working in. For the average of the two, it ends up being $157,000. As of 2017, Montana was the top ranked earnings as a nurse anesthetist of $243,000 as an average annual salary. Florida, as of 2017, was $163,000 average annual salary. Nurse anesthetists are also related to nurse midwives and nurse practitioners. Those three occupations are related, and they are considered as advanced practice registered nurses. They provide patient care as well as specialty and primary health care. This timeline is my 5-year plan, which you can see I have compared a nurse anesthetist to a registered nurse in the top left corner. I will be narrating the pink text. The beginning of the semester, I would have applied for a post-bachelor nursing program for the University of Florida, as the term begins in the summer. Upon acceptance for the University of Florida, I would begin the term on May 13th and have courses in pathopsychology and psychopathology, health assessment and communication, systems of care, wellness promotion and illness prevention, clinical practice, introduction to the profession of nursing. During the fall semester, I would have taken courses in genetics and genomics in nursing practice, pharmacology for nursing, systems care 2 for restoration and wellness, clinical practice 2, and inquiry and evidence in professional nursing practice. The term would end on December 4th. In the year of 2020, I would project to take population-focused care in the spring, systems of care 3, restoration of wellness, clinical practice 3, health policy, finance, and regulatory environments, and legal and ethical issues in nursing. The term would end on April 22nd. I would then begin my summer session on May 11th, which I would take a course in leadership and management in nursing, systems of care in multi-system care and clinical practice, and I would end the summer with the transition to professional practice on August 7th. The day after, I would graduate, and 3 weeks later, on August 29th, I would have taken the NCLEX RN exam. As predicted, should I pass, I would apply for a position and I would gain experience for the next 3 years. As of 2022, I would continue to work and gain experience for the next 2 years and also start a package for a nurse anesthetist program. In this presentation of the nurse anesthetist, I have gone over the career choice, nature of work, working conditions, employment, training qualifications and advancement, job outlook, earnings, related occupations, and my timeline for pursuing a career in nurse anesthetist.